Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there, or found yourself searching for your glasses while they're sitting right on top of your head? Maybe you've noticed that remembering names has become more challenging, or you sometimes struggle to find the right word in the middle of a conversation. If you're nodding along, you're certainly not alone, and more importantly, you're not powerless to do something about it. Here's what most people don't realize. Your brain at 80 can actually be sharper, more creative, and more capable than it was at 40, but only if you're giving it the right kind of stimulation. The problem is that most of the advice you hear about keeping your brain sharp is not only boring, it's often ineffective. How many times have you been told to do crossword puzzles or Sudoku? While these activities aren't harmful, they're like doing the same workout routine every single day. Your brain gets comfortable with them, and once it's comfortable, it stops growing. The truth is that your brain craves novelty, challenge, and complexity, especially as you age. When you challenge your brain with new, unexpected activities, something remarkable happens. Your brain starts forming new neural pathways, a process called neuroplasticity, which was once thought to be impossible in older adults. Scientists now know that your brain can literally rewire itself at any age, creating new connections that can improve memory, processing speed, and even emotional well-being. Today, I'm going to share 4 activities that will surprise you, not just because they're fun and engaging, but because they're incredibly powerful brain boosters that most people would never think to try. These aren't your typical brain training exercises. Instead, they're activities that engage multiple areas of your brain simultaneously, creating a kind of mental cross-training that can keep you sharp well into your 80s, 90s, and beyond. The first surprising brain booster might have you thinking I've lost my mind, but stay with me because the science behind this is absolutely fascinating. I'm talking about dancing, but not just any kind of dancing. I'm talking about learning new dance steps, especially partner dancing, or even line dancing where you have to remember sequences and coordinate with others. Now, before you say I can't dance or I'm too old to start dancing, let me tell you what happens in your brain when you dance. Dancing is like a triple threat for brain health because it combines physical movement, music, and social interaction all at once. When you're learning new dance steps, your brain has to coordinate multiple complex processes simultaneously. You're processing rhythm and music, which activates your auditory cortex. You're planning and executing movements, which engages your motor cortex. You're remembering sequences of steps, which challenges your memory centers. And if you're dancing with a partner or in a group, you're also using your social cognition skills. A fascinating study followed people in their 70s and 80s who took up ballroom dancing, and the results were remarkable. After just 6 months of regular dancing, participants showed significant improvements in memory, attention, and problem-solving abilities. Even more impressive, brain scans revealed increased activity in areas responsible for executive function and spatial processing. The researchers found that dancing was actually more effective at improving cognitive function than traditional brain training programs. But here's the beautiful part about dancing as brain training. It doesn't feel like work. You're having fun, maybe meeting new people, getting gentle exercise, and all the while your brain is getting one of the most comprehensive workouts possible. You can start with something as simple as following along with dance videos in your living room. Or you might join a local senior center that offers line dancing or ballroom dancing classes. The key is learning new steps and sequences regularly, not just repeating the same dances over and over. The second surprising brain booster might make some of you chuckle, but I'm completely serious about this one. I'm talking about playing strategic video games. Yes, you heard that right. Video games aren't just for teenagers holed up in their bedrooms. The right kinds of games can be incredibly powerful tools for keeping your brain sharp and engaged. Now, I'm not talking about mindless games where you just tap the screen repeatedly. I'm talking about strategy games, puzzle games, and games that require planning, problem solving, and quick decision making. Think games like chess apps, word strategy games, or even simulation games where you have to manage resources and make complex decisions. What makes video games so effective for brain training is that they provide immediate feedback and constantly adjust their difficulty level to keep you challenged but not frustrated. When you're playing a well-designed strategy game, your brain is working on multiple levels. You're processing visual information quickly, making decisions under time pressure, adapting to changing rules or scenarios, and often planning several moves ahead. Research with adults over 60 who played strategic video games for just a few hours a week showed remarkable improvements in cognitive flexibility, working memory, and attention span. Some participants even showed improvements that made their mental processing speed comparable to people 20 years younger. The games essentially act like a gym for your brain, providing resistance training that strengthens your cognitive muscles. The beauty of video games as brain training is their accessibility. You can play them on a tablet, smartphone, or computer, and many are specifically designed with older adults in mind, featuring larger text, clearer graphics, and intuitive controls. You can start with just 15 to 20 minutes a day, and because the games are designed to be engaging, you'll likely find yourself looking forward to your brain training sessions rather than viewing them as a chore. What's particularly exciting about both dancing and strategic gaming is that they work on different aspects of brain function, and when combined, they create a comprehensive cognitive workout that touches nearly every area of your brain. Dancing emphasizes physical coordination, rhythm, and social connection, while strategic gaming focuses on planning, problem solving, and rapid decision-making. The key to making both of these activities effective is progression and variety. With dancing, this means learning new styles or more complex choreography over time. With gaming, it means trying different types of strategy games and gradually increasing the difficulty level as you improve. Your brain needs to be surprised and challenged to keep growing, and both of these activities excel at providing that ongoing stimulation. As we explore the remaining two surprising brain boosters, you'll discover how they complement these first two activities to create a well-rounded approach to maintaining and even improving your cognitive abilities, proving that age truly can be just a number when it comes to the sharpness of your mind. The third surprising brain booster is something that might take you back to your childhood, but with a sophisticated twist that makes it incredibly powerful for adult brain health. I'm talking about storytelling, but not just listening to stories or reading them. I mean actively creating and telling your own stories, whether they're based on your life experiences or completely made up from your imagination. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm not a writer or I don't have any interesting stories to tell. Let me stop you right there, because that's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps people from tapping into one of the most powerful brain exercises available. Every single person has fascinating stories, and the act of crafting and sharing those stories engages your brain in ways that few other activities can match. When you're creating a story, your brain becomes incredibly active across multiple regions simultaneously. You're accessing your memory centers to recall experiences and details. You're using your language processing areas to find the right words and structure your thoughts. Your creative centers are working to embellish, organize, and make connections between different events. And if you're telling the story to others, you're also engaging your social cognition skills as you read your audience and adjust your delivery accordingly. But here's where it gets really interesting from a brain health perspective. Storytelling requires what neuroscientists call executive function, which includes skills like planning, organizing thoughts, and managing multiple pieces of information at once. These are exactly the cognitive abilities that tend to decline with age, but storytelling gives them a comprehensive workout every time you craft a narrative. You can start this practice in many different ways, and none of them require any special training or equipment. Try spending a few minutes each day writing down a memory from your past, but don't just list the facts. Focus on the sensory details. What did you smell, hear, or feel? What emotions were you experiencing? What was the weather like? The more vividly you can recreate the scene in your mind and on paper, the more you're exercising your brain's ability to access and organize complex information. Another approach is to create fictional stories, even simple ones. Maybe you see an interesting person at the grocery store and invent a backstory for them. What's their name? What brought them to the store today? What challenges are they facing in their life? This kind of creative storytelling engages your imagination and empathy while also exercising your ability to create logical, coherent narratives. Some people find it enjoyable to share these stories with family members, friends, or even in community groups. There's something magical that happens when you tell a story out loud to an engaged audience. You have to think on your feet, adjust your pacing based on their reactions, and sometimes improvise when you see they're particularly interested in certain details. This real-time adaptation is like interval training for your brain. What makes storytelling particularly valuable as we age is that it also serves an important emotional and social function. When you share stories from your life, you're not just exercising your brain. You're also preserving important memories and connecting with others in meaningful ways. Many people find that the process of crafting their life stories helps them process experiences, find meaning in challenges they faced, and even discover patterns and wisdom they hadn't recognized before. The fourth and final surprising brain booster might sound almost too simple to be effective, but the research behind this activity is absolutely compelling. I'm talking about learning to cook new cuisines, specifically ethnic foods that are completely different from what you normally prepare. This isn't just about following familiar recipes with minor variations. I mean diving into entirely new cooking traditions with unfamiliar ingredients, techniques, and flavor combinations. Cooking new cuisines is like a masterclass in cognitive flexibility, which is your brain's ability to switch between different concepts and adapt to new rules and patterns. When you're learning to cook Thai food after a lifetime of preparing American or European dishes, your brain has to completely rewire its understanding of how flavors work together, how ingredients behave, and what techniques produce the desired results. Think about what's happening in your brain when you're following a recipe for Indian curry for the first time. You're reading and interpreting instructions, which engages your language processing areas. You're learning about new ingredients and their properties, which exercises your memory and learning centers. You're coordinating multiple cooking processes simultaneously, timing everything so different components finish at the right moment, which challenges your executive function and multitasking abilities. You're using your senses to determine when something is properly cooked, developing new sensory memories and associations. But the cognitive benefits go even deeper than that. Many ethnic cuisines have cooking philosophies and techniques that require you to think about food in completely new ways. Chinese stir-frying teaches you about managing high heat and precise timing. Mexican cuisine might introduce you to complex spice blending and the art of balancing heat with other flavors. Mediterranean cooking could teach you about the subtle interplay of herbs and how to let simple, high-quality ingredients shine. Each new cuisine is like learning a new language, but instead of words and grammar, you're learning ingredients and techniques. Your brain has to create entirely new neural pathways to understand these new systems, and this process of creating new connections is exactly what keeps your brain young and adaptable. The beautiful thing about using cooking as brain training is that it engages all your senses, provides immediate feedback, and results in something delicious that you can share with others. Unlike abstract brain training exercises, cooking gives you tangible, enjoyable results that make the learning process feel rewarding rather than tedious. You can start this practice gradually by choosing one new cuisine each month and committing to learning 3 or 4 dishes from that tradition. Begin with simpler recipes and work your way up to more complex dishes as you become comfortable with the basic ingredients and techniques. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're actually valuable learning experiences that force your brain to problem solve and adapt. What ties all four of these activities together is that they're complex, engaging, and constantly evolving. Unlike repetitive brain training exercises that become routine, dancing, strategic gaming, storytelling, and cooking new cuisines continue to challenge your brain in new ways because there's always more to learn and explore. The remarkable thing about these four brain-boosting activities is how they work together to create what I like to call a cognitive ecosystem in your life. When you're dancing regularly, you're improving your physical coordination and rhythm, which actually makes you more receptive to the timing and sequencing required in strategic gaming. When you're cooking new cuisines, you're developing the same kind of creative problem-solving skills that make you a better storyteller. And when you're crafting stories, you're exercising the same planning and organizational abilities that help you master complex dance choreography or cooking techniques. But here's what I find most exciting about these activities. They all share one crucial characteristic that sets them apart from traditional brain training. They're inherently social and shareable experiences. When you learn a new dance, you can teach it to others or perform it with friends. When you master a challenging video game, you have accomplishments to share and strategies to discuss. Your stories become gifts you give to family and friends, preserving memories and creating connections. And the meals you create from new cuisines become opportunities to bring people together around your table. This social component isn't just a nice bonus, it's actually a crucial element of brain health. Social interaction and connection are among the most powerful predictors of cognitive health as we age. When you combine cognitive challenge with social engagement, you're creating a double benefit that protects your brain in multiple ways. I want to address something that might be holding some of you back from trying these activities. Maybe you're thinking, I'm too old to start dancing, or I don't understand technology well enough for video games, or I've never been creative with stories, or I'm not adventurous with food. I hear these concerns all the time, and I want you to know that every expert in every field started as a complete beginner. The goal isn't to become a professional dancer or a master chef or a published author. The goal is to challenge your brain with new, complex activities that keep it growing and adapting. Your first attempt at salsa dancing might be clumsy. Your first strategy game might be confusing. Your first story might be simple. And your first Thai curry might not taste quite right. That's not just okay. That's exactly what your brain needs. The struggle of learning something new is where the magic happens. It's in those moments of, I don't quite get this yet, that your brain is forming new connections and pathways. What I love most about these four activities is that they give you permission to play again. So much of adult life, especially as we get older, can become routine and predictable. We wake up at the same time, eat the same foods, watch the same shows, and follow the same patterns day after day. While routine can be comforting, it's also the enemy of brain growth. Your brain thrives on novelty, challenge, and surprise. Think about how you felt as a child when you were learning something completely new. Remember that sense of excitement, curiosity, and possibility? These activities can bring back that feeling. When you're learning to tango, you're not just exercising your brain, you're rediscovering the joy of learning. When you're trying to master a complex strategy game, you're not just improving your cognitive function, you're experiencing the satisfaction of gradual improvement and eventual mastery. Start small and be patient with yourself. Choose one of these four activities that appeals to you most and commit to try it for just 1 week. If dancing interests you, look up some simple line dancing videos online or check what classes your local community center offers. If strategic gaming sounds intriguing, download a chess app or word strategy game and play for just 15 minutes a day. If storytelling calls to you, spend a few minutes each evening writing down one memory from your day or your past. If cooking new cuisines excites you, pick one ethnic food you've never tried to cook and find a simple recipe to attempt. The beautiful truth is that your brain doesn't care how well you perform these activities initially. What matters is that you're asking it to do something new, something challenging, something that requires it to create new pathways and connections. Every stumble, every mistake, every moment of confusion is actually your brain getting stronger. Remember, the research shows that people in their 80s and 90s who engage in complex, challenging activities maintain cognitive abilities that rival people decades younger. Age doesn't have to mean cognitive decline. With the right kind of stimulation, your brain can actually improve over time. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about which of these activities sounds most appealing, or if you've already tried any of them. Have you taken up dancing later in life? Have you discovered the joy of strategic games? Are you someone who loves to tell stories or cook adventurous meals? Your experiences could inspire someone else to take that first step toward a sharper, more engaged mind. If this video has given you some new ideas about keeping your brain sharp, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to show you that getting older doesn't mean slowing down or giving up on growth and learning. Every week, we share practical strategies for living your most vibrant, engaged life at any age. Here's to embracing the adventure of learning something new, challenging your brain in delightful ways, and discovering that the best years of mental sharpness might still be ahead of you. Your brain is waiting for its next great challenge. Why not give it one today?